Hello and good evening. Let us continue with our discussion in nuclear technology. So, yesterday we were seeing some of the aspects. So, today I am continuing with that. So, most of the critical part I will be discussing today, maybe I may be requiring one more day to wind up the whole thing. So, we are in the, we can say in the penultimate day of discussion of science and tech, which I was supposed to take. Space technology I have taken elaborately, now nuclear technology is going on. So, many current related things you might have already seen, but this is more, I am just doing it in a very systematic way, so that you can easily understand all the nuances of what we are talking, right. So, yesterday we talked about the various facilities in India. Now, let me talk about the research reactors in India. Research reactors in India. See, the first research reactor which we had, okay, it was Apsara. Apsara was the first nuclear reactor. It was built in BARC, BARC, and it was built in 1956. So, to conduct basic research in nuclear physics. Okay, to conduct basic research in nuclear physics, and it is a 1 megawatt reactor, it is a research one. So, it is only the capacity, the 1 megawatt reactor. And it is it is called a swimming pool type reactor. Okay. Basically meaning it is immersed in water. Basically, swimming pool type reactor means whatever heat energy which is produced, that heat energy is to be disseminated, it has to be taken out. This heat energy should not be accumulated somewhere, it has to be taken out, it is taken out through water, and a swimming pool type reactor. उधर देख रहे हमें, हमारे पास भी आना चाहिए ना, वो कहाँ मुंह बना के रखा है देख. So, it is a swimming pool type reactor, meaning it is immersed in water, so that the heat energy is absorbed by the water. Okay. So, that is the concept of that, and it is suitable for production of isotopes. It can produce nuclear isotopes. Then basic nuclear research, of course, then various neutron activation analysis, then testing of neutron detectors, see this Apsara. This is in fact 1956. You can imagine at that time, it is the elementary stage of nuclear technology. Prime Minister Nehru was very keen. So, and we did not have any facility here in India. So, what he did is he approached the UK, and UK agreed to give. I mean, we said them, you have nuclear technology and we would like to have one. So, with the help of UK and using a French core, the core of the reactor is from France. UK agreed to supply this, and that is how this first research reactor came to India. Okay. UK based and French core, that is how we got it. So, we continued, but I know the agreement we signed that the Nehru told that we will not use it for any what you call weapon program and all, but of course, we used it subsequently when we conducted the nuclear test in 1974. Definitely we used this reactor also, the understanding of reactor for the weapon making definitely. So, when we signed the Indo-US nuclear deal, in 2005 and finally, the deal was completed, final agreement in 2008. One of the contentious issue was this also, this Apsara reactor, because it was not under any safeguards of IAEA, but ideally it should have been in a safeguards with the IAEA. So, because of all those confusion and all, we agreed to shut down Apsara in 2010. So, in 2010 we we have shut it down. So, Apsara reactor is no more there, but we have made an upgraded version of it, Apsara U. It is Apsara upgraded. Apsara upgraded, which is a replacement of Apsara. It is a 2 megawatt light water cooled. Light water means normal water, heavy water we have seen, it is a 2 megawatt light water cooled and moderated, again cooled as well as moderated. It is again a swimming pool type, because it is the same Apsara, only upgraded version, swimming pool type. Okay, swimming pool type, and again the fuel is uranium silicide. Okay, uranium silicide, and it went critical, that means it started operating on 18 September 2018. So, it is the latest reactor of India, research reactor of India, it went critical. So, when a reactor starts functioning properly, we call it as the reactor has gone critical, it has gone critical. It has gone critical on 18 September 2018, and it is the latest one. It is again, this is also located in BARC only, BARC, Baba Atomic Research Center, we have kept it in BARC, and so now the earlier it was a French made enriched fuel, uranium enriched fuel, but now it is an Indian made enriched fuel. Okay. The fuel uranium silicide is an Indian made, it is no more French made. Original Apsara, it was a French made one, now it is an Indian made, and also here now the Apsara U, which we will be using for isotopes for medical purposes. Isotopes for medical purposes. Also, it will help in refining the design of the Indian nuclear weapons. It will help in refining the design of the Indian nuclear weapons. Okay. It will help in the design or the refinement, it will help in the refinement of the design of the Indian. See, that is why exactly I have said, the Apsara, we got it from UK and with the French core, French fuel, and the promise at that time was we will use this only for peaceful nuclear research, but ultimately we used it. That is why even the upgraded Apsara is going to help in refining the design of the Indian nuclear weapons, refining the design. So, it will be used for refining it. Okay. So, that is still that that application, that is the problem, that is where the issue is, we are using for refining it once again. So, in the upgraded version Apsara U upgraded only in September 2018. So, Apsara was the first one, then 1956, Apsara U 2018. So, this 1956 version Apsara was decommissioned in 2010. Now, in 2018 we have come up with an upgraded version with the 2 megawatt capacity, megawatt thermal energy output. Okay, that is what 2 megawatt reactor, which has been done in 2018. So, this is Apsara. The second reactor, so this Apsara and Apsara U. Now, the second reactor which we got, it is known as Cirrus. It is called Canada India Reactor Utility Services. Okay. Canada India Reactor Utility Services, Cirrus. Again, it is located, this reactor is located in BARC, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, and it was supplied by Canada in 1954, but we managed to start operating only by 1960. Started operating 1960. It's a and it used heavy water. Okay, the heavy water as moderator and coolant and all supplied by USA. D2O, moderator, coolant. Moderator and coolant supplied by USA, and so ultimately it became the second reactor. 1956, the Cirrus operational, sorry, Apsara operational. 1960, the Cirrus operational. So, it is a 40 megawatt research reactor, and natural uranium as the fuel, heavy water as the coolant, natural uranium as the fuel. See, natural uranium the fuel means some enriched uranium, the understanding is enriched uranium, and the reactor we did not keep it under it was not under IAEA safeguards. Of course, there is no IAEA safeguard in 1960s, but it came up later on, but we always kept it outside, even though we promised Canada that we will use it only for peaceful purpose, but we used it for the weapon program. Definitely we used this for weapon programs, and that is how the plutonium which we generated, definitely used it for with the weapon also subsequently. That is why Canada was very upset about this. Okay. So, Canada even discontinued our nuclear cooperation after 1974, after the Pokhran test they even discontinued it. So, anyway, so Cirrus definitely produced some weapon grade plutonium and it helped. So, every year Cirrus used to produce around 6.5 to 10.5 kilograms of plutonium. Per year. It used to produce around 6.5 to 10.5 kilograms of plutonium every year, And after the Indo-US nuclear deal and the issue of bifurcating our civilian program from the weapon program, India decided, or India agreed, as per the deal, as per the deal with US, the nuclear deal with US, India agreed to shut down Sirius reactor in 2010. We managed to shut down okay. So, the reactor was finally shut down on 31st of December 2010. Because from Canada when we received, we have promised that we will use it only for peaceful purpose. So, that question mark was always there, but it is it's a known fact that we used the plutonium as a spent fuel, okay, the plutonium which is generated, the plutonium as part of the spent fuel. We have used it for weapon program also. So, that is how Cirrus. Okay. So, that was the second reactor. Then the other reactors both in Bark I already said. Then there was a third reactor called Zerlina. Okay. So, it was built in 1961 and decommissioned in 1983. Okay. And it was also heavy water cooled. Zerlina means 0, it was produced 0 megawatt, I mean no energy as such produced. Okay. It was used for producing isotopes and converting uranium into plutonium. Okay. So, 0 megawatt. So, that is why Zerlina is the DR from that, 0 megawatt energy produced. So, basically for producing fissile material, for fissile material production. Our aim was plutonium and all. So, that was there again in BARC, but it is decommissioned. So, Apsara is decommissioned, Cirrus is decommissioned, Zerlina is decommissioned. Now, after that we had one called Dhruva, which is still there. Dhruva. So, it is a 100 megawatt, it is a 100 megawatt heavy water D2O, heavy water cooled and moderated, and it is not a swimming pool type, it is a vertical type thermal reactor, heat energy is reduced, vertical type, that is called. Another swimming pool type we call vertical type. Okay. And it was specifically used for weapon grade plutonium production, for the production of that is nothing but 240 weapon grade plutonium, that is plutonium 240, and it was it went critical in 1985. In 2010 it was upgraded. So, it is functional. So, basically it will produce other isotopes also, isotopes, weapon grade plutonium plus other isotopes. Okay, it produced other isotopes also, but it produced weapon grade plutonium, Dhruva. 1985 it was commissioned. So, meantime we had it is still functional. We had 3 more, which is known as Purnima, Purnima 1. So, it is also in BARC only, please note. Dhruva is also located in BARC, all of them in BARC. Purnima 1, Purnima 2 and Purnima 3. Produced 3 of them, and again it was a plutonium oxide fuel. Okay. Plutonium oxide, which is a byproduct in a reactor, is the fuel. 1 megawatt, I am talking about Purnima 1, I am talking about Purnima 1, 1 megawatt reactor. It was built in 1970, early 1970, and went critical in 1972. So, it is basically to validate our nuclear weapon. Okay. To validate, the purpose was to validate the proposed nuclear weapon, which we exploded in 1974. Please remember, we conducted our first test 1974 at Pokhran. The first fission test which we conducted was in 1974, the first test. So, before conducting the test, we wanted, it is like almost like a weapon only. We wanted to, but we did not go for an uncontrolled reaction. We wanted to validate, we wanted to ensure that this weapon will function. So, Purnima is like a prototype weapon. See, an uncontrolled reactor is a weapon. So, this is a reactor critical in 1972 to validate the proposed nuclear weapon, and using that plutonium 23940, that plutonium 239 and 40, okay, using plutonium as the plutonium oxide is the fuel. So, basically that plutonium is the fuel, which is ultimately converted, or rather this functioning has helped us in finally designing the weapon, that is what we can say. So, it is a very critical part. It was this reactor Purnima 1 was a prototype weapon, we can say, or we were in the process of making the weapon. So, this is the precursor to the weapon. This was one step before we finally exploded the weapon. Okay, that is Purnima 1. Similarly, we have developed Purnima 2, but in Purnima 2 we use uranium 233 as the fuel. Uranium 233 as the fuel, and 100 megawatt thermal capacity, but it was finally decommissioned in 1986. Okay. So, uranium 233, using uranium 233 as the fuel. Then Purnima 3 also, then it was again Purnima 3, it was decommissioned in 1996. Again uranium 233, 1 megawatt. So, this was a precursor to the Kalpakam Mini or Kamini. Before developing Kalpakam Mini, we have developed this Purnima 3 as a so all the 3 Purnima 1, 2, 3 not functional right now. Coming to Kalpakam Mini, Kalpakam, Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, IGCAR. In Kalpakam, and it was achieved criticality in gone critical in 1996, and it is a jointly developed by BARC and IGCAR, jointly by BARC and IGCAR, and it has a capacity, Kalpakam Mini has a capacity to produce 30 megawatts of energy, thermal energy, and it is cooled and moderated by light water. So, this is very significant. Kalpakam Mini cooled and moderated by light water, and fuel is uranium 233. Fuel is uranium 233, and most important thing here is, here this uranium 233 is not a natural one. Yesterday I was mentioning this. Uranium 233 is produced from thorium. So, we have plenty of thorium in India. It is a thorium fuel cycle, or it is from thorium. See, uranium 238 and 235, 233 we are able to extract uranium 233 from thorium, and we have plenty of thorium in India. India has one of the richest thorium deposits in the world. So, Kamini Kalpakam Mini, a 30 megawatt experimental reactor, which is using uranium 233 as the fuel and light water, normal water as the coolant and moderator. So, this is very significant. Kalpakam Mini is using fuel as, it is one of the earliest, one of the few reactors in the world where uranium 233 is the fuel, which is an artificial fuel. It is not a natural uranium. Natural uranium has only, yesterday also I clearly mentioned, uranium 238 99.3% and uranium 235.7%. That is natural uranium. So, uranium 233 is an artificial isotope, but it is produced from, or rather we are able to do it from thorium, artificially created in a reactor, and that is used as the fuel in Kamini. So, this is the only world's only thorium based experimental reactor according to many experts. This is the only thorium based experimental reactor. Thorium based experimental reactor, and the main idea is to use our thorium reserve. India has the largest thorium reserves in the world, okay, or one of the largest in the world, almost 25% of the world thorium deposits. Around 25% of the world's thorium deposits are in India. So, India would like to utilize this thorium. That is why we are very keen. That is how this Kamini research reactor, and it's a key part of our nuclear research. Okay, it's a key. Kamini is a key element in our nuclear research. Okay. Anyway, and it is also this uranium 233 is able to produce enough neutrons, it is a rich source of neutrons. Kamini is very versatile and it is rich, it is a rich source of nutrients, neutrons. See the yield of a reactor is about how many neutrons it produces. So, this yield is very important and Kamini reactor is able to produce enough neutrons, then only that self sustained chain reaction is possible. So, and this it is being, the research is going on even by space department, forensic science, education institution, everybody, all of them are doing research in Kamini. So, it is a very important reactor for India, absolutely no doubt. Now, coming to another reactor, that is fast breeder test reactor, FBTR. Now, just before talking about fast breeder test reactor, let me just remind you a couple of things about a reactor. As I was mentioning yesterday, the most common reactor in our India is called a pressurized heavy water reactor. Okay. The most common reactor, pressurized heavy water. So, here the name suggests many things. Heavy water is used as the coolant and moderator. Heavy water is the coolant and moderator. It is pressurized. When water is pressurized, what will happen? The boiling point will go up. So, it is kept under heavy pressure, so that the boiling point, it will not reach, the water will not boil. Up to 300 degrees Celsius, the water will not boil up to around 300 degrees Celsius, pressurized heavy water. And that is a coolant also, and the fuel is, normally the fuel is low enriched uranium or 2 to 5% enriched uranium as the fuel. That is the concept of pressurized heavy water reactors. One second. So, let me just show you one a rough figure, so that you will get a picture of it. We are talking about pressurized heavy water reactors. Just see. So, what is been shown here? This is the reactor we are talking, reactor vessel, and this is where the fuel, this is the fuel and the burning. So, surrounding that chamber, heavy water is pressurized, pressurizer, it is written there, pressurizer. And then this pressurizer, after pressurizing it, the water is circulated, so that the heat energy is absorbed. Okay. So, that the heat energy is absorbed in the water and is taken, and by using a heat exchanger it is cooled. You see, here steam is created now, and that water which is circulating the reactor, it is continuing to circulate there only. It is not converted into steam, but so the hot water, as it rises up, it will become steam, or rather it will become pressurized water. So, it will not become steam, sorry, it will become more hot, and it is taken to an heat exchange, and there it is absorbed by the surrounding water there, and that is converted into steam, and you can see that steam will run the turbine, and it will generator will generate electricity, and that electricity will go to the power grid. That is what is clearly shown there, and then the steam is condensed, once again circulated, you can see condensed and once again circulated, and that complete. So, in a pressurized heavy water reactor, we are keeping fuel, it is burning, heat energy is produced, that heat energy is absorbed by the pressurized heavy water, the coolant will absorb the heat energy, and that heat is exchanged in a heat exchanger, that is what is clearly showing here, and that steam will produce electricity by running the turbine. So, this is one of the ways, or rather this is the pressurized heavy water okay. So, let me just make it clear for you. Heavy water is the coolant, it will surround or it will rotate or circulate around the reactor. So, inside the reactor, the fuel is kept, and we start the reaction by bombarding it with fast moving neutrons from outside. Fast moving neutrons, reaction will take place, fission will take place. During fission, heat energy is produced. Heat energy is produced in all sides, and the water circulating the outer case of the reactor, the water which is circulating the outer case of the reactor absorb the heat energy, and this water is in pressurized form, or rather it is kept under pressure, so that it will not boil it immediately, because boiling the steam has less ability to absorb the heat energy. ये चेक कर लो यार, वर्क कर रहा है कि नहीं, मुझे लग रहा है कोई वर्क ही नहीं कर रहा है. Okay, so this water is, and the fuel is this enriched uranium. Enriched uranium is the fuel. So, that is a pressurized heavy water reactor. Heavy water is used. Now, there is another reactor called fast breeder reactor. Fast breeder reactor. I hope you are attending. No questions or no doubts coming. That is why I am having a doubt whether things are reaching to you. If it is reaching, just respond, maybe hi something, so that I know that okay, you are watching. Okay. So, so Avinash is saying good evening, very good. Okay. So, just see, I hope you are able to see that, right. And there is no response from you for almost 45 minutes. So, I had a doubt whether, okay, Prakriti also said it is clear, very good, very good. So, you are able to understand, and things are going smoothly there, right. So, thank you. So, coming back, fast breeder reactor, the name itself suggests many things. One is something is fast, and then breeder, something is breeding. Okay. So, fast breeder reactor means, oh, now finally, yeah, or yeah, I am audible. Gaurav is also saying, Sangeet is saying, yeah, no issue. So, if no issue also I have a doubt. Okay. If there is no issue, I have a doubt, something is wrong. Normally, some issue will be there, right. So, when you have no issue, I thought you might be sleeping. Okay. So, all regular people are there. Okay, okay, okay. Yes, sir, please continue. Thank you, here, Caroline. So, anyway, so coming back. So, fast breeder reactor means what is fast here? Now, what is fast here is normally I said in a reactor, we use moderator, and we said, okay, so moderator, I said about moderator for what? Moderators to moderate the speed of the fast moving neutron. Moderator is to moderate the speed of the fast moving neutron. Okay. Now, in a fast breeder reactor, we are not keeping any moderator, no moderator to moderate the speed, no moderator. So, that is why it is fast. So, we are not slowing down in a fast breeder reactor, we are not slowing down the neutrons. Okay. We will see why. So, no need. So, that is why it is called fast. Then breeder, breeding. Breeder means what? Something which produces more. Okay. Mosquito breeding or chicken breeding center, where new young ones are created, new fuel. So, here the breeder means a reactor which produces more fuel.